Hello, I am Pratik Kadam, and this video is a demonstration of my final project for the course CS Python Internet and Cloud Systems. So the main objective of this project is to make use of the Google Cloud platform and deploy a web app which will be using machine learning APIs. So this here is my Bitbucket repository which has the final project right here. So let's suppose if I have it in my Cloud Shell, I have cloned it. So let's go into the directory. So there you have my project. Okay, so before running the app.py, we'll have to do the prerequisites for this project. So the first thing that we need to do is enable all the APIs. So the APIs that I'll be using here is the Google Translate API, the Google Vision API, and the Google Text-to-Speech API. So you can enable the APIs directly using this command, running this command in the Cloud Shell, or else you can also do it by the GUI. So you just have to, it's actually already enabled for me, you just have to enable this. So once you enable the APIs, the next thing you need to do is create a service account that will be used for the machine learning APIs. So this right here command is used for creating a service account named as CS Python ML APIs. I have already created it, so I won't run it again. So after that, we'll be exporting the credentials to a .json file. So for that, we'll be using this command. That also I already did. So let's see if I have that file. So that is my file right there of my service account. So the next thing is you need to set the environment variable to point to your created credential file, that is this JSON file. So for that will be that I have to run. Let's go into the directory. Okay, so I'll use this. Okay, that's it. And the next thing is to set up the Python virtual environment. For that, we'll be using this commands. As we are developing the app in the Python Flask and framework, so we need to set up the environment appropriately. Once we created the environment, we need to activate it. There you have, it's activated. We'll do a pip install flask. The last thing we'll need to do is the pip install requirements.txt. I'll go through the files too. Okay, so now we are able to run the app. So let's run the app right here. As you can see in the folder, I have the app.py file. So I just do a python app.py. So there you have it. So now just do a web preview. Oh, I need to change the port. I'm running it on 8000. So it's working. So next thing I want to do is I have to deploy this app onto Google Cloud App Engine. So before deploying the app, I like to get through the main requirement, like the main files that are used to deploy the requirements.txt. So what does the requirement.txt as? It installs the Flask environment, it uses the GUnicorn ports, it uses it installs all the APIs required. We just enabled it, we need to install it, right? So it installed it from this requirements.txt file. In the app.yml file, we specify the environment that we need, the Flex environment, the runtime Python, and also the type of instance that we'll be using for deploying our app on the app engine. That is, it's open CPU, memory 0.5, check of the disk 10 GB. So these are the basic files required for deployment. So the next thing we will do is we'll deploy our app. So first we need to set the location of the cloud storage bucket for the app's images by an environment variable. So I'll just put in my project ID here. Okay, I can deactivate the environment though before deploying. Okay, that's it. Now the next thing you want to do is just do gcloud app deploy. So this will deploy our app to the Google App Engine instance, and then we can run it through the link that we'll get from the app spot. So I'll not run this app because I have already deployed it. I've already deployed, so, and this command takes like about 10 minutes to run. So let's suppose that I've already deployed it, so I'll just show you the link. So that right here, this is the link that I get after deployment of my app. Let's see. So it's running. So we can even see in this our Google Cloud Console, if you go to App Engine, versions, so it's serving. That starts when we do the gcloud app deploy. So this is the project. Now I'll go through the demo of how this thing works, how this project works. So this page is basically demonstrating the wonders of the world, different 8 wonders of the world. There are 7 wonders, but the El Giza obviously is the 8th wonder, the honorary inclusion. So suppose if I click on any of the wonder, the Great Wall, oh my god, I don't know the names. So I don't know the names of this landmarks. I need to detect it by using the Google Cloud's Vision API. Suppose if I click on this one. Okay, so this button right here, who am I? So on clicking this button, we'll be using the Google Cloud's Vision API to detect this landmark. So the Google's Vision API have detected this landmark from this image as the Great Wall of China. It's exactly as it is, the Great Wall of China. So if you click on more info, the rest of the APIs, how it will work is, we have the description here in English. So the Google Translate API will translate it to Chinese and Hindi. So this way we are using the Google Translate API here and the Google's Vision API to detect the landmark from the image. And the third API is the text to speech API. So what that will do is that will convert this text into a speech, and we can play it here, right?
The Great Wall of China is a series of fortifications made of stone, brick, tamped earth, wood, and other materials, generally built along an east to west line across the historical northern borders of China to protect the Chinese states and empires against the raids and invasions of the various nomadic groups of the Eurasian steppe with an eye to expansion.
Well, that was a big description. So if we that's how I implemented the 3 Google machine learning APIs. I'll just go back to the home page. Let's try it for some other landmark. So this landmark is a mystery. Let's see what it is. So it's Machu Picchu. So there you have it, the translations and the text to speech.
Machu Picchu is a 15th century Inca citadel located in the east.
We can try for the last one. Oh, I don't know this one. So it's Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal is an ivory white marble mausoleum on the south bank of the Yamuna River in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal.
So there you have it. So now we'll be doing a code walkthrough of this project, how the backend works. So this right here is our final project, and no, sorry, not this one. It's in this folder. Okay, so we have a static folder, the environment that creates automatically, the templates folder that we use for the HTML templates, and the app.py, the app.yml. We went through these three files. Now let's go through the first file, that is the app.py. We also open an HTML template just to refer the contents. Okay. So the app.py file. The first thing we do is import all the modules that we need in order to run our project. So we'll go step by step. So this I'm setting up a static directory. I'll explain the reason for this later in the video. So first of all, what we do is we create an app as a Flask object. Then we route the default landing for the route method of the Flask, that is the home page, the home.html file. So now after this, this is the code for one of the landmarks. It includes the use of all three APIs. Similarly, I have it for all the rest of the landmarks also. So I'll just go through one landmark, so it will be like similar to rest of them. So app.route, it routes this for this function to Taj. So what is that? The Taj.html template that I have it here. So first, use of Vision API for landmark detection. So this is the code that I use for detecting the landmark out of that image. The image link is provided here. So this is just the API that I used. Second thing, use of translate API. So this is the description that we see there, the text. So we use it for converting into ZH is Chinese and HI is Hindi. So we translate the text into these two languages using this code. And third part is the text to speech API. Now this is where the static directory comes into role that I've said previously. I'll explain. So what I did is created a static directory because I want to save the audio output file into it, and then I want to use it in my HTML template. So that's how I did the response here. It has like the output of the text. So what the next thing is, I create a variable voice which has the file name like taj.mp3. So I set it to the static directory path. I save it there, and this right here, it writes this response into this file, the taj.mp3 file, which is in this voice path static directory. So this is what I'll be referring in the home.html also. No, sorry, taj.html. If you see here, this is the taj.html. There's just some CSS links. Okay. So right here, if you see here, this is a variable info that I've passed to the template from the app.py file. Where is it? I'll show you the first info. You see here the landmark detection output is stored in this entry, and this entry I have rendered the template and stored it in info and passed it on to the HTML template. Similarly, I have info2 and info3. That's for two languages, the Chinese and the Hindi translations of the description. That also I have passed it here. as you can see. And the mp3 file that I was talking about, the static directory, I have stored this mp3 file in the static directory that I've set up previously, the absolute path. So I'll be using it in the audio controls right here in the HTML page. As you can see, the URL for static directory file name taj.mp3. So in this way I'm using the audio file also. I've used a bit of JavaScript here too for hiding and displaying the contents, like the functions show name and show info. That are some on click, that are the functions that get executed on the click. Like suppose if I click on this, then it displays this. Until that it's hidden, right? So right here I've used JavaScript functions. One more thing in the app.py is the last thing. Using the run method of Flask, we launch the web app on all the IP addresses of the host using port. That's the thing we can't afford to miss. So in this way I have developed my project to make use of all the machine learning APIs that I can. I defined a function for each of the landmark. I made use of 3 APIs. I use the output here. This is the output right here, entry. This is the output, result 1 and result 2 for the translates. And this is the output for the voice. I've rendered it into my HTML file. The voice output, I've stored it in the static directory and used it directly over there. So this is how my code works. I think that's it for my project. Thank you.